and my daughter was not a good wife to they are clearly not fit to be grandparents. Whole thing in his mouth, because of course people were staring. Hey guys, I'm doing another take at this reading Reddit stories again. So if you are new here and are into this kind of thing, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also click the notification bell so you never miss another upload from me. Now let's get into the video. I will be reading a AIT video, so I need your response and I need your opinion. I need your take on this. All right, so let's see, which one are we gonna take today? All right, AITA for refusing to financially support my pregnant daughter and her family. Let me give some history on my daughter and her life to explain why we're in this position. My daughter was 18 when she told me she wanted to marry her boyfriend of a year. My husband and I, both 60s currently, did not want to see her get married so young, either of them, and we advised them to wait and keep dating, to live life a little first. His family had the same response. To show us all they could do it, they went and got married at the courthouse with just some of their friends as witnesses. Once they were married, my husband and I tried to be supportive without getting in the way. They were so young but also old enough to make decisions for themselves, and we did not want to be those parents who step in and make things worse. Again, the marriage was doomed from the start, but they had 2 children together. My grandson Indigo, now 12 months, was first, and he was followed by my granddaughter Sky, now 11F. What's that? No, 11F. Anyway, my grandchildren were loved, but their parents were not happy together. Their dad was not a good husband to my daughter, but he was an excellent father. And my daughter was not a good wife to their dad, but she was a good mom. He died a few days before my granddaughter's 5th birthday. My daughter found love quickly afterward and married her current husband even faster than her first. From the time they said I do, my daughter and her husband have spent tens of thousands trying to make my grandchildren his. They went to court for him to adopt them, but the judge asked to speak with the children and said no after their meeting. They appealed the decision and lost again. They paid thousands for a therapist to speak in court about the benefit of adopting for the kids. The court assigned their own therapist and denied the request again. The only real break from this was when the courts were only handling emergency hearings and adoption requests were delayed due to the pandemic. But once they could, they were back at it. My husband and I asked why our daughter didn't wait to allow the kids to make their choice. But she wouldn't hear tell of it. They borrowed money to pay for these therapists and lawyer and court fees. Each time the request to adopt was denied by a judge. Wow, it must be something. Now my daughter is pregnant by her husband and they do not have the money they once did. It all went on the many failed attempts to adopt my grandchildren. My daughter turned to us, husband and myself, about a month ago now and shared how tight their finances are and asked for our help financially, but these are like some 60 plus, like, anyway. My husband and I told her we would discuss it, but we were on the same page. We do not feel we should help. We feel like doing so will allow our daughter and her husband to continue the pointless adoption pursuit and is not in the best interest of the family. My daughter was furious when we told her no. She asked how we can turn our backs on family. She has said we are clearly not fit to be grandparents or parents. Like, AITA, no. I don't think you're to be blamed. Like, they're adults. They should, like, do what they need to do to get what they need to get done. Like, so no, I don't think you're to be blamed, Grandma. But what do you guys think? Let me find another story. AITA for telling my husband to stop eating like he's never seen food before. How many of you can relate? I'll try to make this short, but don't judge just off the title. I, 29F, I'm trying to figure out what that means. Went out for dinner with husband, 28M. Female. Oh yeah. I, 29 female, went out to dinner with husband, 28 male. Last night, nothing fancy, just a chain sports bar. And it being a Friday, the place was packed. We placed our order, and we're catching up on the day. Everything is going fine. When the waitress brought for appetizers, my husband grabs about 4 decent sized tortilla chips and scoops an actual mountain of spinach dip with them and shoved the whole thing in his mouth. And when I say shoved, I mean shoved his fingers in his mouth with the food. By the time I had 3 chips with some dip, the entire rest of the appetizer was gone. So I was already irked and embarrassed because, of course, people were staring at us. I said as much to him, and when he said he didn't see what he was doing wrong, I told him, you're acting like you've never seen food before. It's embarrassing. He didn't say another word to me after that and has barely spoke to me today either. I don't think I'm an asshole for telling him I was embarrassed by how he was eating and annoyed that most of the appetizer was eaten by him, but I may have taken it too far with the last comment. That's a comment where she's saying you're acting like you've never seen food before. It's embarrassing. For further context, no, this isn't the first time this has happened. I've told him multiple times it's embarrassing when he does this and asked him why so I can try to help or at least understand a bit better. But why are you gonna take most of the appetizer? Is to be shared equally. It's only at this specific chain, and his answer always is either I don't know or that he really loves the spinach dip they have. He also, well, it's only at that restaurant. Oh, it's always only at that restaurant. Okay, so he really loves the spinach dip they have. He also does this at home, but I don't really care when he's at home because I'm not going to dictate how he acts in the privacy of our house. Also to note, because I'm sure people may ask, no, he did not grow up in a food insecure household. They weren't rich, but not struggling that much. And neither are we struggling now. No, there is no history with an eating disorder either in him or his family. Like, with all that said, AITA. Edit, because people keep asking the same question. So just for clarity, 1, yes, I've had this conversation before with him in much nicer ways and actually in private. He actively knows I hate when he eats like that. 2, yes, he eats like this at home, but never when there are people over, and when we go to other people's home, I don't give him over it because I'm not gonna police what he does when he's in private. 3, no, I'm not gonna divorce him over this. I know in my head that this is one of the very few things we argue about. Is it annoying? Yes, but it's a while to take me to the divorce. But it's a wild take to tell me to divorce my husband over it. Very wild. 4, we continue to go to this place because it's a cheap, convenient option for when he has a super late shift. Gets out at 11 or later because it is 5 minutes from our house and is one of the few places open at that time. 5, no, my husband is not in the military. Listen, I feel as though she made a very good point. She said, no, I'm not going to divorce my husband over this, but I feel as though he should be fair. Like, after having a conversation with him, or probably ask to order 2 appetizers, then 1 for you and 1 for me. There go, bingo. Not gonna divorce, but there definitely has to be a workaround. What are you guys' take on that story?